Hello, friends. I'm State Senator Carolyn Committa. As the League of Women Voters says, your vote is your voice. So speak out and vote.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariah Hathaway, and I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Commission for Women. We are so excited to be celebrating Women's History Month with all of you. As mentioned, this year's theme is Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. In honor of this, I wanted to quote two of my favorite suffragists, Alice Paul and Ida B. Wells. Paul says, "There will never be a new world order until women are a part of it." And Wells says, "There must always be a remedy for wrong and injustice if we only know how to find it." These quotes are a reminder of how far we have come, but also serve as a call to action. We know that not all women have had the right to vote for 100 years. Women of color did not gain access to the ballot box until 1965, and this has held us back. Today, we know that women are still unequal in this state and country. The gender pay gap still exists, our bodies are still being policed, and we are vastly underrepresented in government, which is why I am proud to work with the Pennsylvania Commission for Women to advocate for women and girls across the Commonwealth. As some background knowledge of who we are, the Commission for Women is made up of a diverse and inclusive group of volunteer leaders from across the state who work together on behalf of women and girls on both a local and state level. We provide a voice to empower women and girls in Pennsylvania. We promote policies, procedures, legislation, and regulations that positively impact women and girls. And most importantly, we serve as a resource on issues relating to women and girls. I hope that all of you enjoyed today's program. I will read the Governor's Women's History Month proclamation, and then we will hear remarks from Governor Tom Wolf and First Lady Frances Wolf. Proclamation, Women's History Month, March 2021. Whereas women of every age, race, ethnicity, and economic background have made historic and significant contributions to the growth and strength of our Commonwealth. And whereas Pennsylvania seeks to extol the distinguished accomplishments of women in the Commonwealth, both past and present, who have worked with vision and determination toward the progress of our citizens and communities. And whereas this year's Women's History Month theme is Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. And whereas the women's suffrage story is intrinsically linked to our Commonwealth from its early Quaker roots through the adoption of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in August of 1920. And whereas in the 18th century, Lucretia Mott of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was a founding member of the Philadelphia Female Anti-Slavery Society and participated in the organization of the Seneca Falls Convention, sparking a dialogue about the women's right to vote. And whereas in the early 20th century, Daisy Lampkin of Reading, Pennsylvania, and Caroline Katzenstein and Dora Lewis of Philadelphia were tireless advocates for women's suffrage who participated in professional organizations as advocates for the movement. And whereas countless other Pennsylvania women, most of them forgotten to history, worked tirelessly to spread the suffrage movement across the state and inspired the vision, action, and determination of the next generation of women. Therefore, in special recognition of the contributions of women from all walks of life to the advancement and development of the Commonwealth and our nation, Tom Wolf, Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, proclaims March 2021 as Women's History Month. He encourages all Pennsylvanians to recognize the women who have left their imprint on the pages of history, as well as those whose leadership will guide us into a future filled with possibility and progress.
The work of Pennsylvania women is present in every corner of our state. Every day, we strive to uphold the contributions they have made to strengthen our Commonwealth.
At every turning point in Pennsylvania, from wars to social movements, women have used their voices to prompt meaningful change, and their efforts have improved each of our lives. Because the women of our past refused to be silenced, doors have been opened for the women of today to continue the fight for equality and fairness and justice.
It is an honor to celebrate the accomplishments and the unwavering commitment of the women who have worked tirelessly toward progress. So during Women's History Month, we remind every woman that her voice and her contributions to our state matter.
We encourage women and girls to speak up for themselves and to keep breaking barriers. Because when women refuse to be silent, things get done. Happy Women's History Month. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Manzano Diaz, and I am a commissioner for the Pennsylvania Commission for Women. The theme for this year's Women's History Month is Refusing to be Silenced, Valiant Women of the Vote. As women, we need to know and understand our power in a democracy. Women fought for our right to vote. We must not only exercise that right, but we must remain vigilant by protecting and defending the right to vote for women and all Americans. Remember, your vote is your voice. Tu voto es su voz. But voting is not enough. We have to elect ethical women into public office. One ethical woman who is safeguarding our democracy and who will not be silenced is the Honorable Congresswoman Madeleine Dean. She was born and raised in Glenside, Pennsylvania. At the age of 18, she won her first election to serve as a committee person. Thereafter, she graduated from LaSalle University and earned her law degree at Widener. She practiced law and later became the executive director of the Philadelphia Trial Lawyers Association. While raising her 3 sons, she changed career paths and became a professor at LaSalle University. In 2012, Madeleine successfully ran for state representative. In the state legislature, she was an outspoken leader on issues relating to education, healthcare, criminal justice reforms, addiction, and equal rights. She co-founded the PA Safe Caucus, a group of legislators who work together to reduce all types of violence in society. In 2018, Pennsylvania had 18 congressional seats, and none were held by women. Madeleine was inspired to run for Congress. Ms. Dean, along with 3 other women, won seats in the United States House of Representatives, thus breaking up the all-male congressional delegation and making history in the process. The 4 groundbreakers of the 116th Congress are known as the Fab Four. In Congress, she serves as on the powerful Judiciary and Financial Services Committees and remains focused on decency and the common good. In 2020, Congresswoman Dean was elected chair of the Bipartisan Women's Caucus. We're thrilled that Governor Wolf appointed her to the Pennsylvania Commission for Women. It is an honor for me to introduce to you our distinguished commissioner and our history-making Congresswoman, the Honorable Madeleine Dean.
To my former colleague at LaSalle, Dr. Mary Ellen Balkunis, for recommending me to speak at this virtual event. Thank you also to Mariah Hathaway, the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Commission for Women, for organizing the event. I am grateful to be a part of the Pennsylvania Commission for Women with so many other advocates working especially with PCW Healthcare Committee. I joined the committee back when I was a state representative, and I'm honored to remain on the commission. Our work matters as we advocate for policies and legislation that serve the best interest of women and girls in Pennsylvania and identify programs and opportunities for the benefit and advancement of women. I know this year's PCW Virtual Women's History Month's theme is Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. I love that celebration. To me, refusing to be silenced reminds me of this past year as we observe the centennial of the passage of the 19th Amendment. The fight for the right to vote began much earlier, and it was not an easy fight. In 1848, the first convention of women's rights met in Seneca Falls, New York, to launch the women's suffrage movement, including Philadelphia's own Lucretia Mott, a founding member of the Philadelphia Female Anti-Slavery Society. One of the meeting's organizers and leading advocate, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, spoke to the nearly 300 women saying, quote, "We are assembled to protest against a form of government existing without the consent of the governed, to declare our right to be free as man is free, to be represented in the government which we are taxed to support, to have such disgraceful laws as give men the power to chastise and imprison his wife, to take the wages which she earns, the property which she inherits, and in the case of separation, the children of her love," end quote. Stanton's words paved the way for the women's suffrage movement, but it would take until 7 decades later for women to earn their right to vote. Today, the tireless work and commitment the suffragists endured must be honored. We can do so by letting our voices be heard and by refusing to remain silent in times of injustice. I think of the recent insurrection on the Capitol. I chose to speak out against that attack because it was the moral and the right decision. However, it does not come easy or thoughtless. After speaking out and condemning the president for his words and his actions, I face scrutiny, online threats, but I remember the words of Teddy Roosevelt. Quote, patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president or any other public official, save exactly to the degree in which he himself stands by the country. It is patriotic to support him insofar as he efficiently serves the country. It is unpatriotic not to oppose him to the exact extent by that inefficiency or otherwise he fails in his duty to stand by the country. In either event, it is unpatriotic not to tell the truth, whether about a president or anyone else," end quote. As a member of Congress, I have learned that I can never be silent in the face of injustice and that I must always, unequivocally, lead with the truth. These principles guide me daily as I champion for our democracy, for our Commonwealth, for my district, for equality for all, and as I am led by the common thread of our humanity. As a newly elected chair of the Bipartisan Women's Caucus, I look forward to progressing the priorities of women with bipartisan solutions. We have plans to address and propose action to combat the high rate of maternal mortality, particularly for women of color. We are going to focus on substance use disorder among mothers and pregnant women and prioritize maternal health while recognizing the stigma often associated with it. The work that we do in the Bipartisan Women's Caucus is evidence of the immense amount of power that women hold to generate change. By working together in a bipartisan manner, we will be able to get things done across the aisle and help women across this nation and beyond. Our work is far from over, and we must ensure that all women are protected. I thank you for the chance to be with you.
Forward, sister women, onward evermore. Bondage is behind us, freedom is before. Raise the standard boldly in the morning sun. Against the great injustice, see the fight begun. Forward, forward, sisters, onward evermore. Bondage is behind us, freedom is before.
Hi, my name is Shana Simmons, and I am the Artistic Director of Shana Simmons Dance, which is a Pittsburgh-based contemporary dance company. We're thrilled to be a part of this event this evening. I just wanted to let you know that the text that is used in this next work is taken from the Declaration of Sentiments from 1848, written by Elizabeth Cady Stanton. This document helped push the movement for women's rights forward. The music in this next work is by Gradient, and COVID precautions were taken during filming.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of those who suffer from it to refuse allegiance to it. Has never permitted her to exercise her inalienable right to the elective franchise. He has compelled her to submit to laws in the formation of which she had no voice. Having deprived her of this first right of a citizen, the elective franchise, thereby leaving her without representation in the halls of legislation, he has oppressed her on all sides. As a teacher of theology, medicine, or law, she is not known. Has denied her the facilities for obtaining a thorough education, all colleges being closed against her. Now, in view of this entire disenfranchisement of one half the people of this country, their social and religious degradation, in view of the unjust laws above mentioned, and because women do feel themselves aggrieved, oppressed, and fraudulently deprived of their most sacred rights, we insist that they have immediate admission to all the rights and privileges which belong to them as citizens of these United States.
Wow, what amazing performances those were. Thank you all for joining us to celebrate Women's History Month. I wanted to especially thank Governor Tom Wolf and First Lady Frances Wolf, the Second Lady of Pennsylvania, Giselle Fetterman, the Pennsylvania Commission for Women, Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, Koresh Dance Company, Shannon Simmons Dance Companies, Councilwoman Sharon Booker, and of course, the Multi-Agency Women's History Month Committee. This program would not be available without them, so we appreciate all of their support. And please feel free to reach out to me directly if you'd like to partner with the Commission or learn more about us or our upcoming events. You can email the Pennsylvania Commission for Women at women@pa.gov. Have a wonderful afternoon.